Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out True Off My Chest. Story 1. I'm embarrassed to be with my boyfriend. I, 18F, love my boyfriend, 20M, but I'm embarrassed to be with him now. He spends so much time indoors studying philosophy and doesn't better himself. This was an issue before, where I gave him an ultimatum and said if he didn't get a job, license, or made more attempts to see me I would break up with him. He eventually got a job as a server at a local restaurant. He held this job for a few months until the restaurant closed and hasn't been working since. I feel like the time he hasn't been working has been more than the actual time he had worked. He's a great guy, very smart and a great listener, and I see myself with him, however he irks me now. He has no license or a car and I have to drive 30 minutes to pick him up and take him places. If I want to go out, I am the one driving and it makes me feel like a loser driving around my older boyfriend and just wish he would make an attempt to change. We talked about this a lot and in September he said he tried to get his license but he failed, however he made me a promise that he would keep practicing and get it by the end of October. I brought this up again because it's almost the end and he said he hasn't been practicing and won't get it this month. I'm just disappointed and hate that I look at him negatively. He takes a few classes at his local CC, which he tends to skip if he has to take one in person. He believes he can teach himself and doesn't need a professor to teach him, so he sees no point in attending classes in person and just skips unless it's necessary to be present. He's taking about 3 classes at the moment and 2 are online and the one in person he never goes to. Most of his time is spent indoors reading these stupid philosophy books and I just wish he would do something better with his time. I like him and his family is very sweet to me, but I can't get rid of this feeling of embarrassed. I know it's wrong, but still, why can't he just get his license and work a simple job or put more energy in class? Story 2. My boyfriend has a just-in-case fund for me. We've been together for about 1.5 years now and it's been so wonderful. Last week I damaged my car coming back from work, completely my fault, no else was involved. I was completely distraught. My boyfriend came to see me and helped me find someone to fix the car. The work was fairly priced but I couldn't afford to pay, so my boyfriend offered. I said I'd pay him back but he refused. He proceeded to tell me that he saves money from his paycheck every now and again for a rainy day fund for me, just in case I need anything. Obviously this isn't something I plan to need to use at all, besides this time, but I just felt so loved and cared for. I really love this guy. Story 3. Navigating mood swings during partner's withdrawal, seeking advice, M32, M28. Hey everyone, my partner, M32, and I, M28, have been together for 5 years. About a month ago, he decided to quit smoking. During his withdrawal, he undergoes sudden, literally, mood swings, accusing me of being distant or rude without any apparent reason. We usually have a healthy relationship, but these changes are challenging. I want to support him, but the mood swings are affecting us. It is something I cannot predict. We are affectionate, have an active sex life, respect each other and mostly, support each other, and then boom, all of a sudden, huge fight for the smallest reasons. When I try to navigate fights he twists the story and even blame for being disrespectful. How long does it typically take to improve, and what should I do when he acts this way? Dr. My partner, M32, and I, M28, have been together for 5 years, and he recently quit smoking. During withdrawal, he undergoes mood swings, accusing me of being distant or rude for no reason. I love him and want to support him, but these mood swings are affecting our relationship. Seeking advice on how to navigate this challenging phase. Story 4. My 31M husband wants to try again for a baby with me, 25F. TW, miscarriage. My 31M husband wants to have baby with me, 25F. I've been pregnant 3 times, no live births. One before we got together, which I lost under 6 weeks, 2 with my husband, 1 7 weeks, and 1 13 weeks. The 7-week loss, my husband took me to the ER, then told me to get over it after 2 weeks and wanted to try again right away. We fought a lot during this time. I was at fault, he was at fault, we both said things we shouldn't have and wasn't the nicest to each other for a few weeks. It was a dark time in our marriage. Fast forward 2.5 months, I become pregnant again, and I had massive anxiety about possibly losing the baby, which I ended up losing the pregnancy, and we started fighting a lot during this time. I had awful morning sickness, super fatigued, my work laid me off during a huge layoff round, and it was a scary time. My OBGYN put me on progesterone suppositories during this time, from 4 weeks till we went in and found out my sweet baby, due November 20th, 2023, was measuring behind. We went back a week later, and they said the baby is still behind. Next week, I went by myself, and was told my baby had no heartbeat. I was 12 weeks at this point and my doctor told Maine to try to miscarry naturally. My husband was over the crying, heartbreak I was going through. I still had awful morning sickness, and I just cried all day. It was a hard time. A week later, I started miscarrying. My husband had his father over, and they were sitting outside, drinking and talking, and I was texting and begging him to come help me as the cramps were awful. I was alone, passing our baby alone, and needed to go to the ER. I was sobbing inside, horrified, couldn't drive myself, and once my husband came in, he couldn't drive me either because he had been drinking. He looked at me as I was laying in the blood on the bathroom sobbing and said I can't do this, and went back outside. I was alone through the process, it was awful. Since then, I haven't been able to really look at him the same because I feel heartbroken. He always was so supportive. I had a major surgery and was on a feeding tube when we first got together. He was so kind and took care of me. He took me to DRAPTs, cared for me, walked our dogs, my chore, did my feeding tube. He did it all with a smile, and was fantastic. I know he felt grief and was sad losing the babies too, but he left me alone. I'm not sure if it's because of how emotionally we fought after our first one together went, or what happened. Now my husband wants to try again badly. He asks all the time and talks about our future kids together. I don't trust him to be there for me in a vulnerable time again and don't want to put myself in that situation to feel heartbroken. I want to love my husband and trust him again, because he is a great partner overall. He's kind, fun, and loving. We have a great relationship, up until the fighting lately with the baby talk. I'm too triggered. What can we do to get back to a good point and be friends again? Editing to add, I read every comment. I truly do appreciate that all of you have shared your thoughts. Reading back through my Story 5. What to do if you are defective, have no place in society and no means or reasons to exist. Hello. I am a defective human who has no future or place in this world. I am unable to achieve anything that normal humans can. Too many various factors united to make that possible: my physical disability, my mental illness, my family, my country of residence, even my gender. I spent my entire life trying to overcome the challenges, but after years or even decades of efforts I still can't get things that other people spend no effort on getting. I don't know how to live without almost anything at all. I wish I could stop living, but there are cats who depend on me, so I am unable to do that now. But I don't know how to handle this all. Maybe someone here does? I will try to describe problems and solutions, starting with social. But if you want the TLDR, I can't form connections, I can't understand things and people, I can't find a job, I can't find medical help, and barely able to survive, especially since war broke out in my country. And I don't know why I am like that and how to keep living like that. Friendship. Very unlikely to form. I always struggled with understanding of other people, my interests, values, ideals are different from theirs. I often noticed that I would react on various life situations entirely differently than all the other people, and it makes me hard to communicate because I cannot foresee reactions of others on what I say. And while my interests are not something really unusual, for example, quality storytelling in all mediums, and in games in particular, somehow I never found people interested in same thing in my city. Even on various websites designed to meet new people I can only find them in different cities, despite mine being a regional capital. I don't know why, but here people don't even have board games club. What is worse, is that all people who share interests with me is almost always a lot younger than me. And obviously they not interested in someone old, even just to converse with, since they find it creepy, while with people of my age I almost always have nothing in common. Also due to my mental issues I have this hyperfixation on certain interests, and hardly anything else in the world matters for me, so advices like learn new stuff will not work for me. And even if I go to groups with shared interests, I see that mine are quite niche. I haven't found anyone who would enjoy my favorite music bands, and I found no others like them. Games I play online are often very unpopular ones, shows that I enjoy getting closed. It gets even worse with age, because, like my psychiatrist said, I am stuck in 15y. Mind, people of my age have very different life experiences and interests, so we can't find a common ground, and people below my age are seeing a body of an old man and assuming that I have life experiences that I had no idea about. So I am limited to online conversations, and mostly with people from other countries since there are very few people in mine who have posted similar interests in their profiles. I write to them, but they do not respond. Or various meeting subs alone I wrote thousands of messages, only to people who seemed to have similar interests in their profiles, and also created my own posts, but nothing worked. I don't know why, I don't think I say anything wrong, just asking if they will be interested to discuss shared interests. I even wrote into game writing groups, thinking that other gamerdeers would be interested to discuss stories, but nobody responded. And seems like majority of people only using those groups for self-promotion. In some places, there are rare OCASIans when people respond to me. Most of the time they have no idea why they are writing to me and what they want, and dialogue stops. Sometimes they answer my questions in few short words, but almost never say anything first. And after a few exchanges they just stop sneering me without any explanation. Those conversations often gave me feeling like I was speaking to some textbooks, since they ignored half of the stuff I wrote, said weird things out of context, and were even unable to explain what they want. Eventually, I found a few people I could talk to, and it happened somewhere on my 32th year of life. I think that's one of my major accomplishments, and I feel really happy when I can talk with them. One of them are especially amazing since she is a critical thinker, knows a lot, can hold deep conversation, gives detailed answers, good at explaining thoughts and feelings, an overall amazing person. She even said that she would hug me if we would meet. It's something that I also searched for a very long time, but no people where I live interested in that. But I will probably never meet her or my other internet friends in person because they all live in different countries. And now when she found a new job, she has little free time to talk, and even though I'm really happy that her life is improving, I miss that hours-long conversations a lot. I wish I had someone to talk with at least once in a week or two. As for other people I speak with, I often want to keep the conversation going, but I don't know what to say. And I don't know how to speak with people without any common interests. All they usually say it's hello, and I have no idea what can I say to them. I never understood small talk. Or what to say about things I have no interest for. Or how to predict reaction of another human to my words. I hardly can understand hints, or why people sometimes can't give a clear, defined answer. And if we somehow will start talking they find me weird because I am always honest about anything, I say what I think, and I do not share various social habits, like taboos, traditions, etc. That often creates conflicts because for humans someone who does not share their values are often viewed as an enemy, especially if they have some radical beliefs, and a lot of people in my country are now open radicals. So making connections with random people is entirely impossible for me. 2. Sex. I don't think that I am attractive, both visual and as a person. 2 people in my life said that they find me beautiful. More than dozens said that I am ugly, and simply lack of any interest from opposite gender says that I do not look good. For some weird reasons I had gay men being interested in me even though I said about my orientation in profile, but, sadly, I have zero attraction towards men. I also do not possess any masculine character traits that are valued by women, ability to take initiative, chasing and conquering the women, being dominant and strong, attraction to violence, desire to earn and supply. And I am physically weak. Due to my disability and inactive way of life I can't do any physically challenging tasks. Also I am quite old already, and people of my age almost always look very old to me as well. So chances for mutual attraction for me are zero. Also the country I live in, Ukraine, is quite conservative, women always never looking just for sex here, unless they want money for it. Hookup culture barely exists here, and you have to be incredibly hot and extrovert to participate. I even spend a lot of time trying to find a person who would be interested in just cuddling and hugging without sex, since I like touches a lot. But nobody were interested. 3. Love. It's quite simple actually, love is a friendship combined with sex. Or, sometimes, without sex, just a very strong friendship, depending on circumstances. If I can't have either of that, zero chances of finding love. Also my view of relationship and love are very different from how most people see it. For them, it's more like a mutually beneficial agreement, when they will unlove people as long as they will stop providing necessary things. For me, it's just a desire to spend time with someone you like, and try to make them happy. I never met other humans who would think the same. Somehow only animals can love unconditionally. Even my psychiatrist said that if you will find the girl who would like you, she would still want you to financially support her because that's how girls live. I know that in other countries there are lots of independent women, but I can't get there anyway, we'll explain later why. 4. Fulfillment. Just existing is emotionally crushing. I feel the constant need to do something. Urge to create. Sadly, maybe because of my obsession with fiction, or because of other reasons I am very talentless in everything except writing. And even in that sphere I only able to write a good stories for video games, and only in specific genres that I understand. I can say with certainty that my writing is quite good, it comes very naturally for me, and when I released my first RPG game people who played it enjoyed the story and left positive feedback, even despite its being merely a few hours prologue without any really significant twists or character building. Rarely anyone has zero negative feedback about their first piece of art, so I take it as a sign that I did everything well enough. But, all the indie teams I joined fell apart without getting anything done. I always did my part and created the story they asked for, they liked it, but at some point just lost interest to the project and disappeared, again and again. And finding a job in professional game dev for someone like me is impossible. If HR will not filter me out for my inability to work from the office, or the country I live in, they will do so for my inability to perform various rites that other people do in order to get such job. My only hope could be showing my work directly to a team member, but for some reasons they will never agree on that. I spent already 18 years and sent thousands of letters both to HR, automated systems and studio mails, but almost never had a reply. So unless a miracle happens, it will not, I have no chances to create things, because my profession requires a team, and I both can't find a good one that would need my skills, and lack leadership and communication skills to build my own. 5. Job. Without ability to make games it leaves only boring jobs for me. Also jobs that can be done from home because I am unable to go to the office every day and sit in chair at that office, I spending almost all of my time in bed because my chest bones deformation otherwise causing me a lot of pain. And then my memory fails me. It's hard for me to learn, complicated things blow my mind, especially if it's related to precise sciences. I just too dumb to understand them. Also I forget all things that are not interesting for me incredibly fast. I don't remember anything but few little things from school, I don't remember anything at all from college, and after almost 2 years of attempts to learn coding I can't remember enough to write a single line of code. I do not even remember all the things that I tried to learn. It's like my memory is a black hole that eats things. Sometimes I can randomly memorize things very well, even those that aren't interesting, but it's how it happens and how to control it. The things I like I remember better. I hold most of the stories I wrote in my mind without writing them down and can recall most of the details. But sometimes I forget even things that I have interest to. Also my everyday life is quite bad because of that. I constantly need to set reminders and alarms for various events or I will forget that I had to do them. And to make things even worse, when I perform an activity that is boring for me, I keep losing my focus no matter how hard I try to keep it. I have intrusive thoughts, I type words that were not even in my mind, give myself tasks over and over, like a jammed tape, saying I need to do this, but my mind can't start doing the thing, it's all foggy, becomes hard to process thoughts, and I become very irritated by that. This drastically lowers my effectiveness at almost any tasks. And I also want to sleep during the day quite often. The desire is so big that I hardly can think and keep my eyes open. And I am quite sure that any employer will not be happy about workers sleeping during the day. This leaves me without ability to learn a job. All jobs that are not requiring any learning are either very social, like having to speak with people on the phone, that I can't do well, or they require to physically go somewhere that I also can't do. Throughout my life I tried learning various jobs and always failed hard. 6. Means to exist. The recruitment center in my city gave up on me. There is no benefits for unemployed in my country. All I have is 2,100 UAH disability pension per month, that's roughly a $60. Also about 500 UAH extra from selling currencies in online games, but that one is very random. It was enough to somehow survive at first. But since my country was attacked, and we faced second economic collapse, all prices increased in 100%. Pensions and incomes remained the same. The only one who get their paychecks increased here is the government, while citizens left to their fate. My cats have chronic diseases and need special food for that, and since it costs 2x more now, I don't have money on anything but food, can't afford even medicine. And my mother helps with cats since she has both job and pension, otherwise she would not survive as well, since retirement pensions are too low and only enough to cover communals. It's why she does it since she hates me. And things will only get worse because prices keep rising and a lot of things aren't supplied anymore to the country. I tried even extreme options like searching a job in drug dealing, could not find offerings for my city, or searching for black market to sell part of the liver, but could not find that as well. I know it exists but it's how people finding such things and how they are making sure that it's not a scam. 7. Medical help. Due to my disability, and half-failed operation done by corrupted doctor, probably intentionally, I feel almost constant pain, albeit it is almost always low, except for rare seizures and cases when I need to stand up and go somewhere. That's why I spend almost all of my time in bed. I have severe head pains in one certain spot, problems with stomach and gallbladder, dramatically worsening eyesight, ringing in ears, chronic coughing, kidney stones and some other things I can't even diagnose, let alone heal. Can't afford anything but cheapest pills. My mental issues are the worst. I spent year visiting mental health facility, and all I got was various diagnosis, each doctor says about different disorder, most of which didn't made sense since I do not have most of the described symptoms, and they do not have the symptoms that I have. Only thing they agreed on was depression. They gave me AD, probably the only one they had, for some time, it didn't work, and they said that there is nothing else they can do, and didn't seem like they cared from the start. It is the only free mental facility in the city. I have no way of finding out what is wrong with my mind, what is causing all the issues with my memory, communication skills, and what makes my reactions so different from those other people have, and how to treat it, if it's even possible. 8. Leaving. Maybe if I was born in another country, many of my problems would not exist. Progressive people who would share my interests and way of life, free medical help to get me if not to normal, then at least to the functional state, better educational optionals, or at least not useless, help with employment. But to have all that you need to be born in the country, be a citizen. Nobody really wants to take garbage people like me in. For example, I read the requirements for refugees in Norway, and it clearly states that a person should be able to learn local language and find a job. I am quite certain that I will not be able to learn language, and have no idea if it would be possible to find any job in my state and without language knowledge. Of course, there are still jobs I haven't tried yet because they do not exist where I live, like taking trials of experimental medicine, but there is no guarantee that they will exist there. And without a job I will not be able to take care of my cats, since apart from special food they require often visits to the vet, and vets are incredibly expensive in developed countries. I will not even have the place to keep the cats, since refugees are places to life in barracks and other shared spaces, where cats would cause problems to other people living in same room. And even if that wasn't a problem, I will never have enough funds to move myself, my PC and my cats to another country, when I can hardly lift one cat. I could take any possible risks for myself, but never for those who I am responsible for, who depend on me. Also without a job I will not be able to stay in the country. So, this is my life, pain, loneliness, sadness, and hardly anything else. I am like a caged animal, can only observe people doing all the things I always wanted to do, but I know I will not get out of my cage. I do not think that I am even a human, just a bag of meat that exists by mistake. I tried everything I could think of to change it, and countless times asked for advice of other people, even here, on Reddit. I don't even know why I am doing it once again, since I know that I am already too old and sick to achieve most of the things I want, and that I am just too defective and broken to have them. Right now I just need to survive long enough to take care of my cats and give them a good life, before I can travel to the country that allows medically assisted death. But surviving gets harder, since the crisis in my country barely leaves any ways to survive. Also my mother is old and sick, and I can hardly take care of myself, since many things of life's routine are either physically demanding, like carrying food from shops or cleaning the house, or complicated, like bills, repairs, etc. Also my mental condition getting worse, now I hardly can spend several hours without thinking of release from this torment, and this not letting me enjoy a few things I still can enjoy. I don't know if I will have enough self-control if things will get worse. I just want it to stop. And I don't know what to do. That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.